teaches classes and workshops here at the camp. Reverend Sheldon has served on a number of committees, including the Education Committee and the Board of Trustees. And I'm also very lucky that he's my husband. So please join me now in a very warm welcome for Reverend Dr. Sheldon Ganberg.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear, Israel, the Lord is our God. The Lord is one. As a young boy, I remember my grandfather taking me to an Orthodox synagogue. The whole service was performed in Hebrew. And so I wasn't able to understand what was actually being said. I can see it right now as I tap into that memory. The rabbi opening the ark, unraveling the Torah, parading down the aisles while the congregation is chanting and rocking back and forth as the cantor sings. Moving into the vibration of the energy of that moment. This is one of the most powerful childhood memories that I still carry within. I may not have understood the Hebrew language, but the power of the intentionality and the sacredness of my experience transcended all literal understanding. To this day, I remember tears welling up inside me with feelings of holiness, filling me and shaping my spiritual journey. In retrospect, it felt as though every Jewish man dating back to the Abraham was in that synagogue worshiping together as one. We were beyond time and space, together with the Holy of Holies. Yes, I didn't understand the word of the service because it was in Hebrew. But I understood the feeling of the presence of the oneness of God. There is only one presence. There is only one God, one presence, one power. And in spiritualism, we would say we believe in an infinite intelligence. And there are many expressions of the infinite intelligence. In other words, there is one God and there are many paths we can take on our spiritual journey towards enlightenment. This is expressed beautifully in the song One Power by Daniel Namahan. And the chorus goes like this, sort of. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings, or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, It's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. Yes, there is only one God, and this oneness is a common bond we all share together as a collective humanity. There is one God, and we are all interconnected. In order to reawaken that sense of connectedness, regardless of the name we call God or the religion on earth that we feel drawn to, I believe we need to really acknowledge, not in our minds, but in our hearts, there is one creator, one source. In fact, perhaps more than anything else, this concept of oneness is the underlying principle behind all the mystical traditions of all the major religions, including spiritualism. As expressed in Spiritual One, we believe in an infinite intelligence beyond our understanding. Yes, we're all one, and we're all interconnected as a human family. Each and every one of us are connected. The mystic and Dr. Emily Cady, in her book, Lessons in Truth, states the following, and I'm quoting: "There is one God in the universe, one source of all the different forms of life or intelligence, which we see, whether they be humans, animals, rocks, or trees." To me, this statement is profound. This statement is the essence of spiritualist principle 2. We believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are expressions of infinite intelligence. What this means is that not only is everything in the world interconnected, but everything in the world is alive and conscious on some level. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Quite a number of years ago, I was going through a dark night of the soul. My first marriage was failing. My business was going bankrupt. And I was having what we would call a Job experience. I was angry at God, and I was questioning even the existence of God. And so I went on a silent retreat on an island off the coast of Maine. And I was just trying to seek some inner peace. After my third day in silence, I had this urge to take a walk in the woods. I was feeling very depressed, and I remember having a conversation with God. Are you really there? Why is this happening to me? Please give me some sign that you are there. And so I walked down this path. It was a dirt path. And I kept on walking and walking, and I just felt myself, tears coming to my eyes. And then all of a sudden, an eagle just jumped about 50 feet in front of me. And it kind of walked, and it sort of looked like it was hobbling. And it kept on looking back at me. And I said, oh, maybe this eagle's wounded in some way. And so I kept on following it and following it. And then all of a sudden, that eagle flew to the right of me up on top of a tree. And being this was on the coast of Maine, I saw this beach, but it was a rocky beach, a beautiful rocky beach. And then all of a sudden, this rock just appeared in front of me, and it shined and it glowed. And the energy was vibrant. And the eagle flew away, And I went down to bend over and pick up that rock. And I looked at it. And all of a sudden, this eagle's face appeared, etched in the rock. This wasn't my imagination. It was actually a picture of the eagle's face in that rock, and I still have that rock today. It's so hard to describe the sacredness of that moment. I felt the rock was letting me know that it was here, just as eagle was, to teach me that we are all one, we're all interconnected. And the sense of separation from God that I had been feeling had totally dissipated. I can just feel it leave my body. I truly felt that God was here, and God is everywhere and in all circumstances. Even in the most challenging circumstances, God is always present. To emphasize, again, this quote by Emily Cady, there is one God in the universe, one source of all the different forms of life or intelligences which we see, whether they be human, animal, rocks, or trees. We are all one. We are all interconnected. The poet Ralph Waldo Emerson says that I'm reading this quote, one drop of water taken from the ocean is just as complete as the water in the ocean. He said the elements of water are exactly the same, and they are combined in precisely the same ratio or perfect relation to each other, whether we consider one drop, a pailful, a barrelful, or the entire ocean out of which the lesser quantities are taken. Each is complete in itself. We are like the drops of the ocean. We are complete in itself. We are all manifestations of this one presence. And I believe we can use the same logic and apply to the relationships between God and humanity. We are in God, and God is in us. I believe that this was what was written in John 17:21 through 23. It was written that Jesus prayed for all believers in the following way. Father, just as you are in me, I am in you. May they also be in us, so that the world may believe in you that sent me. I have given them the glory that you gave me, and they may be one as we are one. I in them, and you in me. May they be brought to complete unity to let the world know that you sent me and have loved them even as you have loved me. And every Bible, every religious teaching has that within it. All the mystical traditions have that essence within them. And so, yes, love is the glue of the universe. Love is what binds the whole human family together. We are all one. We are all interconnected. And I believe this is the role of religion, to teach and model this message to the world. This leads me to another story. Back in the 1980s, I lived in England and taught in an Anglican community founded by Canon Peter Spink. It was during one of our retreats that I had the privilege of meeting the retired Archbishop George Appleton, the Archbishop of Jerusalem. And Bishop Appleton gave a presentation entitled One God. And this was a turning point in my life. He presented us with the image that God is like the white light. And all the religions are like the colors of the rainbow, refracting off of the white light as if in a prism. He said each religion was a unique expression of the one, and that we needed each other to more fully express the inexpressible. He said that no one religion has a copyright on God. We are all one. We are all interconnected. And each religion is a unique expression of the one. One of the great ironies of human nature is the fact that this very structure intended to enrich our relationship with God is the one thing which divides us the most as a human family. For countless eons, more wars have been fought on religious principles than for any reason. Even to this day, wars, bloodshed, battles, and countless examples of our humanity to one another are much too common, as one group tries to instill or enforce its belief systems, its politics, or the supremacy of its God into the lives of others. These conflicts are not simply between various religions, but also within each denomination. There are sects within Christianity, Buddhism, Judaism, Hinduism, Islam, as well as within every religion. Many insinuate they are just a little bit more right than the other. Just a little. Even various churches, temples, synagogues have found differences with their members of their own sect who have somehow fallen away from the original or the true faith. In addition to separating people from one another, these conflicts have also caused individuals to become disillusioned with religion. Some even becoming convinced that religion is a waste of time. Too often, the result has been that people have given up organized religion because of their disappointments in humanity. I believe that part of the problem is due to our innocence of knowledge of our perception of our oneness of God. Yes, I agree with Bishop Appleton. All the religions are like the colors of the rainbow, and no one religion has a copyright on God. We are all one. We are all interconnected. And each religion is a unique expression of the one. Bishop John Shelby Spong took this concept a step further in his publications back in the early 2000s. I believe this article has profound insight into the future of organized religion. It confirmed that what I know to be true in my heart and what I felt my whole life. And he said, worship in the future, and I'm quoting him now, worship in the future will not be oriented towards any external God, but towards the world of our human community. In other words, God is ultimately found in the depths of our own humanity. God will be seen as the presence of the heart of life, available to everyone, and not as the special possession of a religious institution. The institutions will inevitably be shed its denominational agenda and its territorial wars. Spong continued, religious institutions will cease to pretend that they speak for God or that they are the sole channels of divine grace. Worship will be dedicated to the search for truth, universal truth, rather than expanding its energies to seek to defend its narrow vision of truth. The liturgical changes will begin by focusing on the God experience itself, not on the explanations of the God experience that rise out of yesterday's consciousness. As I reflect a bit on what Bishop Spong and Appleton said, here is what I see as being the new churches or the spiritual centers of the future. I see the churches of the future as being non-denominational interfaith ministries formed for the purpose of supporting all individuals in their unique spiritual journeys towards reaching their potential as spiritual beings. I see the goals of these churches or spiritual centers providing safe, non-judgmental atmospheres for those seeking to creatively explore, express, and practice what has been awakened within one's inherent spiritual nature. The spiritual centers of the future will support not only in theory, but in practice, the freedom of religious and spiritual diversity on our sacred planet. They will outwardly teach that no religion or spiritual system has a copyright on God, and that all spiritual systems hold within them a segment of the truth. The church educational programs will move beyond theism and recognize that the nature of God is a mystery, and it is not for us to dictate any individual's relationship and expression of their God. Therefore, no creed, no dogma will be required in the spiritual centers of the future. I believe that humanity is at the threshold of entering into the dawn of what will be known as the new spirituality. A spirituality where we explore beyond the limitations that we have put into place. A spirituality where we integrate the head and the heart. A spirituality where we as religious institutions create sacred spaces for inner healing, and where we support each other in aspiring towards our wholeness, supporting each other. A spirituality where we heal our relationships with our families, our communities, and our brothers and sisters of all ethnic groups and cultures and religions. I believe that as a world, we are at a crossroads right now. Humanity is now at the point where we are looking at our shadow individually and collectively. Yes, the hidden parts of our collective selves are coming to the surface to be healed. Anything that is hidden is being revealed right now, and you can see it everywhere within ourselves, within our politics, within our economics, within the world itself. It is being revealed. And I believe it is only a matter of time where humanity will have to collectively come up with a solution around global war, global warming, because these challenges are a reflection of our consciousness as a planet. And it's time that we raise our consciousness. It's time right now that we raise ourselves up. And so I say to you, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to take spiritualism into the 22nd century and spiritualism and beyond? Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of our creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal. Well, everybody, I have a dream. I have a dream that spiritualism and spirituality will use its principles and evolve them even further than it already has, leading the way, creating centers for spiritual, emotional, mental, and spiritual healing. Yes, spiritualism is the best kept secret in the world. And it is now time that we all step forward and take a quantum leap, demonstrating in our communities the power of spiritualist principles and even beyond spiritualist principles. Let us lead our communities into the 22nd century as we join together in unity, putting the practice of our belief in diversity and at the same time practice oneness. Yes, I say we are ready to demonstrate that the kingdom of heaven here on earth, it's here right now as we work diligently towards a planetary peace. Yes, everybody, we are all one, and we are all interconnected. God bless you all.